Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I will show two examples today from creative industries. Fashion, traditional fashion, and movie. And within the context and frame of power of traditional fashion and movie industry, through its potential to set trends, also friends maybe, to brand values and tastes, to eclipse national society, to embrace diversity and engage for peace and development. Traditional fashion industry is tied to nation branding, through branding of design, which expresses values, symbols, and cultures of national level. Nation branding, which is seen as a form of soft power in terms of creation of a conscious strategy that draws on a nation's specificities, promises to attract broader international legitimacy and determines a system of their authentic and unique cultural values in order to promote and distinguishes them from their national counterparts. But what nation branding cannot do is to address the plurality of voices, legacies, and competing visions of culturally interwoven nations. In order to support peace industry through movie and fashion industry, all actors will need more interventions that recognize possibilities contained in inclusion of diversity in national and international relations, and find common sense in similarity as equal-born humans. One example about this issue I would like to share is from the Benetton company. Maybe some of you know old posters. I grew up with them in the 80s, and I can say this was my first encounter to the global world of united people. Growing up in Croatia, Bosnia, former Balkans countries, we used to travel a lot, but we were like very similar. And these posters, they expresses a very clear message. A very different people and nation, equally positioned, just dressed in a very colorful fabrics, which speaks for itself. So what is equal here is that no one is especially exotic in its national or traditional clothes or something. They're just people in very nice colors, united in colors. So this was something which I realized many years after. White became cool posters within my room and room of my classmates because it was different. We became a sense of belonging, what was yesterday by Darnell's presentation also an issue, like belonging to something greater and much larger than we are in our tradition, nation, culture, and city. So this vision of being a part of a big world of people was a very important experience for personal growth, for development of plural identity, of self, to become flexible, to find yourself in many cultures, in many identities. And this is, I think, also necessity for anyone who would support peace building and talk about and represent those values. Because if we explore everything just from distance was a topic today and also yesterday, it is safe and we might have more options to act from another perspective. But closeness like today in this last presentation from Professor Susan, sometimes it's necessary to jump into the situation of other, to become more empathic, to develop those emotional intelligence and all other skills which can be developed just through experience. So we must experience something in order to be able to say it becomes my competence and skill after reflective, self-conscious analysis after. So that much about Benetton. I'm not advertising, we are not supported by this company, it's just a personal choice and something to share from my personal experience. So, fashion can be instrumental in shaping the tone and nature of cultural identity and intercultural relations. It is an actual vessel of political legitimacy. As a vehicle of cultural diplomacy, fashion can create a unique space for artists, audiences, and other stakeholders in cultural management to come together on a neutral platform to express and to share their interests and products. Providing cultural and traditional values through exchange of creations, innovations, visions, and interests embedded in attractive products within international context, fashion can positively stimulate interaction between nations as a contemporary gathering of individuals who share and exchange their creative works toward common benefit and development. Fashion has a symbolic power in terms of representation. Its exhibition constructs and pursues meaning through demonstrating. Especially traditional clothes transfer social standards and cultural concepts with regard to the body, gender, aesthetics, gestures, tastes, and cultural roles. According to French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu, cultural roles are more dominant than economic forces in determining how hierarchies of power are situated and reproduced across society. I need to mention, in my analysis, I was working a lot of, with concept of Pierre Bourdieu and his observations. He was also the first who introduced the concept of symbolic power within the context of representation. And I think it's the character of the soft power, which we are all facing, especially within the field of diplomacy. There are so many meaningful symbolical messages. And the symbolic power is also based on taste. Taste which brands and positions people through certain values. And this is also a part of this analysis about fashion and branding of values which are based on traditional heritage. Okay, let's move further. One example about branding of shared cultural identity within the global homeland is the Commonwealth Fashion Week, which was endorsed by World Designers Awards and World Fashion Council. Commonwealth Fashion Week and Awards was created to connect a network of all Commonwealth fashion designers, brands, media, models, celebrities, and all stakeholders in the fashion industry. So I have just one picture about, if someone is interested to research more. Yeah. It's called Splendors of the Commonwealth. And they support mostly development countries and use fabrics with patterns of traditions and cultures from all countries of the Commonwealth and create together fashion events, combining also with contemporary fashion development. Yeah. Film and cinema have a huge potential to serve as a powerful vehicles to reach audiences across countries within their homes, where people can taste stories that reflect the social, cultural, and political landscapes of their origin and from all other countries from distance. We mentioned already about this distance and closeness. So what fashion can do in the term of fashion walk, fashion performances, it is a distance. It has another approach to influence. It pursues more. But movie can deliver message within people's home. And this is something very special because they don't even have to go to the theater if they are not able due to transportation's limits, like Darnell yesterday showed in his presentation. In the movie, people who are living somewhere where no theater and people who are not in the position to get tickets for the theater. So movie can deliver messages. So I see here the necessity of more collaboration between creative industries and this intersectional development to support each other's work. What fashion can't tell to the end, movie can provide furthermore. So people can explore worldwide the same topic, even if they are not present there. So my first example is from Austria, Vienna. This is actually just trailer, but it's a documentary film from Ottmar Schmiederer. The title of the film is Stoff der Heimat. And it was made in 2012. So aiming to investigate the phenomenon of traditional costumes in all its diversity, including their cultural and political background and the national legends surrounding them, from the earliest times to the present day, featuring examples from Austria, Bavaria, Switzerland, and South Tyrol. Stoff der Heimat, Fabrics of the Homeland, focuses on the habitat and dress codes of the individual protagonists or groups, exploring the political and social significance of rituals and lifestyles, and the exuberant symbolism associated with them. It shows different approaches to tradition in relations to the conflicting demands of modern times, and examines the construction of identity and the idea of home. The film explores traditional Austrian folk costume or Tracht in all its facets, as clothing, business, fashion, ideology, symbol, creed, and weapon. The appellation to this form of clothing has in the meantime become a playful sign of distinction, as has the fashion. Ottmar Schmiederer reflects on this work. The whole question of what is foreign, encountering non-European cultures, had led me back to the foreigner within and to folk costumes. I grew up in the province of Salzburg in Lothar, with lederhosen in Dirndl, which are the part of my childhood memories. The social conditions that had such a lasting influence of me are connected to traditional costumes. These memories are associated not only with positive experiences, but also with feelings of uneasy and ambivalence. Where does this unpleasant aftertaste came from? The instrumentalization of traditional costumes by national socialism was certainly a decisive factor in this. A further one is the dubiousness of national and regional identity. So let's see this trailer. We can talk about this later. Yes. So it's in German, but you will understand the message of pictures. Moving.
Die Tat ist mit Sicherheit eine von vielen Antworten auf die Globalisierung.
Für mich ist es eine Heimat.
Du bist das Land, der mich mit Freude hat.
Und ich bin halt schwul, obwohl ich Tracht genauso. Das ist einfach.
Trachten mischen aus allen Herren Ländern.
Mit Leinen arbeiten, mit Samt arbeiten, mit wunderschönen Borden, die wie alte Borden aussehen, mit Spitzen, wie die alte Spitzen.
Es gibt doch ganz andere Kleider, die schauen irre aus.
Okay. Here's another movie. So, what we could see here are also examples. How can this traditional fashion industry be used to combine? How can we combine fabrics and patterns, maybe to create something common? It doesn't have to be that way, but it's just one way of possible design, new developments. People are trying and thinking about what is possible to bring us more together. Because you are now in Berlin, but in Munich, there's Oktoberfest, which became brand across many countries. I saw even in Italy in October, in many bars on the street, it's Bretzel with this sign, October, October, October. So it's then decorated with all those traditional costumes and hearts and everything. So it makes fun. But as this film director Ottmar Schmiederer was analyzing, it has also another potential for very negative and dangerous creations of identities, of homelands, of belonging and not belonging. So inclusion or exclusion. My next example is about, it's a young entrepreneur, Joie de Fashion. It's also from Vienna. And this artist is combining two issues in her business. She creates fashion with greater purpose. And this is actually the message of my presentation. How can we work for greater purpose? How can we really support peace development? On what does it mean in our work? As artists, as philosophers, as diplomats, and so on. She was a victim of the human trafficking. And she's Austrian-Nigerian artist, Miss Joanna Adesuwa-Reitera. She's CEO and founder of Joie de Fashion, worked in the Nigerian film industry and moved to Austria in 2003, where she founded the charity anti-trafficking organization Exit. She organized a series of events like the Nava Film Festival, which was held in 6 European countries and in Nigeria in 2011. She published 2 books and became the first person awarded with the prestigious Human Rights Award by the Austrian League for Human Rights, based on her humanitarian engagement for the rights of victims of trafficking. Joanna developed and launched the Joie de Fashion and Lifestyle brand as a sustainable business model and inspiring platform, where extraordinary women share everyday experiences to empower other women, and opened a possibility in her business for the clients who wear and sell her clothes to become both the ambassadors of her products and part of the business network. Combining patterns, fabrics, creations, and design for greater purpose, Joie de Fashion ambassadors deliver products with individual signature and strong message and accessorize with simple words. This is a citat of Joanna. What would the world be without fashion? What would fashion be without her accessorizes? And how is life without prospects? What if we could now create better perspectives for those in need of it? So here's a short video about how she connects her business with this community Exit to support victims of human trafficking. message is clear. To support our next is an ethical etiquette with signature of humanity. So peace is a brand for all seasons, I would say, and it needs to become trend by all nations. Thank you.